Hi, it's Claire back with another art journal page. Today I'm working in my Dilutions journal. It's a large Dilutions journal. Just adding a thin layer of gesso to both pages. I'm going to be doing another Christmassy themed page today, and I'm going to start off by working straight into my journal using this round 6-inch jelly plate. So first of all, I am using a Sedona from Dina Wakley, and just stamping that in several places straight onto the journal page. Next I use Ruby. It's funny, isn't it? These two colours don't actually look that different until you put them side by side, and the Sedona is a much more orangey red than the Ruby, but they're really nice colours together. So I'm just cleaning off my gel plate and brayer, giving the page a quick dry. Because I didn't want, because I'm going to be using green next, I didn't want to leave any red on the gel plate because obviously it would have gone a browny, mucky colour. So I don't often clean my gel plate between uses unless it's a situation like this where it would make a browny colour. So then I'm just going in again and using, this is lime, and just stamping that straight onto the page. And again cleaning off the gel plate. Then Evergreen, and as you can see I'm just finishing off a bottle of Evergreen there. I've taken the nozzle out and just poked bits out with a very long handled brush so that I can get as much out of there as I can, and when I get to the point where I can't get any more out with a brush, then I cut it open and get it out, the rest of it out. So once I've finished with the 6-inch gel plate, I'm then going in with a round petite gel plate and using the same colours. I'm just stamping some more red and green circles onto both pages. Then I just wanted to push the background away a little bit, not too much, so I'm just using a bit of gesso and my brayer and just adding a little bit to the page, but not too much because I didn't want to lose that lovely background. So I decided I was going to do some Christmas gnomes on the page today. So I'm just sketching them in pencil where I want them to go. I was going to do 3 because obviously I try to work in odd numbers because they're very pleasing for the eye and look nice. So that's it, and then just one more in the middle. It's very difficult to see at the minute, but when I start sketching them in with a black Posca pen next, you'll be able to work out where they are much easier. This is a really fun page to do. It'd be great fun to do this sort of page with young children as well if they wanted to have a go at drawing some gnomes. They're quite simple shapes, as you can see. Nice because you haven't got to worry about faces. Okay, so once I'd drawn them in, I then went in with some white paint and just painted over the hats just to push the background completely out of the way so that any colour I added on top would be easier to paint on and would show up nice and clear. I didn't really want any of the background to show through the actual gnomes. And then I just started to add some colours. So this is lime for the first hat. And blackberry. And then ruby. And then in places where it hadn't quite covered enough, I just went in and added a little extra paint. I wanted these to be quite opaque colours so that you couldn't see any of the background at all. And then I used my Posca pens to add some pattern and detail to the gnomes' hats. I guess you could do any pattern you like really on these little gnomes' hats, it doesn't matter. Then I added some white paint to their beards, just to give a base coat underneath. And then I'm just going in and adding some colour to their bodies. As you can see, apart from the purple that I've used on the middle gnome's hat, I'm mostly using reds and greens, and yet they still pop out quite well from the background. So here I'm just mixing some evergreen with the lime just to make a slightly darker green. Pink noses, starting to look quite cute now. And then rather than faffing about painting those beards, they were so fiddly, I just decided I was going to go in with a white Posca pen, and it covered better in some places than others, but it didn't really matter. I wasn't bothered. So getting quite a nice white look for the beards. So once I've added all the colour that I want to add, I'm then going to go and outline, and then you'll see that the little gnomes actually pop out from the page really well. There was just a bit of wet paint there that got into the white Posca pen and made a bit of the beard pink. It's very funny. Oh dear. Right, then feet and hands, nice and black. And just adding some white underneath their feet, so like they're standing on some snow, because otherwise they look like they were floating, which is no good. So now they're a bit more grounded, that's better. And this is where I'm starting to outline, so you can see things really do start to pop out a little bit more. Trying really hard not to get my hand in what I've just outlined. I'm terrible for doing this. Get carried away with what I'm doing and forget and stick my hand in things. In fact, I think I did actually get white paint all the way up my arm from the snow that I'd put underneath their feet. But you always know when it's been a good art journaling session, when you've covered in paint. You see, then I got clever. Piece of paper down to stop me covering myself in white paint and black Posca pen. There we go. So just adding a few more patterns and details to the gnomes' bodies. Different size circles and dots. Not anyone would think I'd got a thing about circles, I don't know. I'm always using them. These lines that I'm drawing, I'm trying to follow the shape of the body so that it helps give them some shape. And then I remembered that I'd got this really good little cutting, I don't know what they're called, punch tool, which had got a snowflake on it. So I thought, right, excellent, let's get some of those on the page. So it's starting to look really cool. I love how the little white snowflakes pop out from the background. I'm just using a glue stick to stick them in place. But by this point my finger was getting quite sticky as well, so they kept sticking to me. And then I'm using a Pitt marker pen in a dark grey, and I'm just adding some little bits of shadow to the gnomes just to try and pop them out a bit, make them a little bit more 3D, a bit less flat. Yeah, I do like these pens for adding shadow. This is a set of Pitt marker pens. They came in different greys, so they go from a really dark grey down to a really, really light grey, and they're nice just for adding little shadow details to things. You can see these do have a little bit more depth to them now, and then a little bit of shadow underneath their feet where they're standing. And I was liking how this was coming together. Nice fun page. And then I came across this little quote when I was searching for things to do with gnomes. And it just really tickled me. So I thought, I see it. This Christmas I'll be hanging with my gnomies. And then some white splatters with a fan brush and white acrylic paint. And then some last minute details. I decided he needed some stripes on his body as well. And then I just used a number stamp with a very fine detail on and just stamped a bit of text onto the snow. And there it is, my finished page. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching.